everybody. It's me, Johnny, and with me I've got DJD.
Howdy.
And Craig. What's up, Craig? And I guess we should start off by answering the question everyone's asking. D, where have we been the last couple weeks?
Look, I was here last week. All right.
There have been rumors about what's happened to a nav with the blackout of a navcast the last couple weeks. You could say there was a shutdown.
You could say that. That's exactly where I was going to go.
You could almost say there was a nav government shutdown. You could say.
Yeah.
The 2 weeks ago, DJD wasn't able to make. You were going to record like mobile away,
right? Yeah.
And I was kind of just like, let's just not do it. And then we came up with this great idea. And you know what's great is I know Farmer doesn't listen to this, right? Like he doesn't spend time listening to it. So we were like, hey. Yeah, he's a busy guy. So we were like, hey, let's gaslight Farmer. And we edited all of our messages saying like, this is when we're coming to, I'm not going to make it. To see if he would pop in. Because he was like, oh, I think I can make it. To see if he would pop in. By the way, he didn't come. He didn't pop in.
Yeah, so I was watching and I didn't see him. Yeah.
Which he then was like, oh, his power supply was still down last week. And then this week, I mean, freaking, can you believe it? He's doing a charity event and he's not going to be able to be here. I know. How annoying is that?
So selfish, you know?
Yeah, for the kids and such. And then last week, I don't know if our if our American listeners realize, daylight savings struck.
Yes, it did. It caught me off guard too.
The end of daylight savings.
The end of daylight savings. Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like I have this conversation with Americans every year, twice a year, every year, about how annoying daylight savings is. Also, I live in a country that doesn't have daylight savings. Japan doesn't do that. It's not even like, oh, they do it at a different time. We just don't do it at all. So for 9 months out of the year, Central Time is one time behind me. And then for like 3 months, basically, well, it's not 3 months. I guess it's a little shorter or longer than that, right? Because it's November, December, January, February. So like 4 months. It's
like 8 and
an hour later. But an interesting thing so they don't do it in Japan. And people are like, oh, that's so great. We should just not do it. No. So this is what that means. It means that all year, the sun kind of goes down around 6 or 7 p.m., right? Even in the summer, like 7:30, that's pretty normal for the sun to go down. But it means that the sun comes up at like 4:30 in the summer. You know, sun's up early, which is pretty brutal. But D, so one of the things I've noticed is, because I've actually done research on this now, is there's inconsistent messaging about why people do daylight savings, like why people or countries started doing daylight savings. Do you know the different theories?
The main one I've heard is that it's like for harvest or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
That is one I grew up hearing. We do it for the farmers, because the farmers have to be up with the sun anyway. And so it makes it somehow changing the clocks forward an hour helps the farmers somehow. Another one I've heard is that we do it for kids. It's so that there's light longer, right? And so kids can be out longer and stuff. And it's like, you know, the kids go out, and if they're out in the afternoon playing, it's light longer for the kids. But one of the ones that I've never heard people say, but in research I've seen, is that this is a practice that became way more popular, especially during and post World War II, as a way to save energy. Because like city lights and stuff like that, like super late at night, you know, they wouldn't have it. And like, you know, they would, the sun comes up a little bit later and it goes down later. They don't have to turn on the lights at 7, they can turn on the lights at 9. And so basically they save some money doing that. Which to me sounds like the most realistic reason why it's done. Like, right? It's just like, oh, hey, like it'll save us money if we just do this kind of a deal. But it's a huge headache for everybody. So all of that to say, last week, here I am at my studio at 12:30, the time we normally record in Japan, and there's nobody here. And I'm like, where's everybody? And I'm waiting, and now it's 12:45. No one comes in. No one says anything. And then it hit me. Oh, man, daylight savings happened last weekend. Or not, sorry, daylight savings ended last weekend. That, I think, is another good point to bring up. The normal time in the United States is now, right? Like, it's the rest of the year that is the different time, the daylight savings time. That's the not normal.
Yes. I don't honestly, so like I've done some research into this as well. The primary concerns are usually on both sides of it, like whether daylight savings or like whether you want the clocks forward an hour or back an hour. Everybody kind of just wants this to stop. And
Yeah, everybody just wants it to be over.
and honestly, energy costs aren't like, I don't think, enough of an excuse to keep it going. Especially considering that, like, like you, I hadn't heard of that before, really.
Right. Right.
Not as like a mainstream argument anyway. So like, I mean, like most of the arguments that I've heard, like even politically, have always been centered around like, like, oh, well, like, like, it makes things easier for like, the Midwest when they like have to harvest and
Right.
agriculturally and
Yeah.
all that, or,
Farmers and kids.
yeah, yeah. Or, yeah, or the protection of like children or whatever, so that they're like, there's light out when they're out and everything. And like, honestly, the circadian rhythm argument, I think kind of sort of makes sense a little bit. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But also I think that humans in general are very adaptable, and
Mm-hmm.
that honestly we would just get over it. Like,
Yeah.
if we said it one way or the other, we would just adapt. You know what? It would just be normal for it to be like either dark out or either dark out super like early or light or dark out super late. In terms of the morning. Like, I mean, we would just deal with it, I think.
Right.
But
I have blackout
like,
curtains. That's in
yeah,
Japan.
I have
Everybody
over.
has like blackout curtains that like in the morning the sun's just up, or you just deal. You just deal
Right.
that the sun's up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
You're just used to it.
But like it's funny because like so the main, I guess, obstacle between this getting resolved is that it seems like there's a lot of people on the pro like, oh, it should always be daylight savings time. And then there's a lot of people on the opposite side of that where it should never be daylight savings time.
Right. They're like, no,
And
daylight savings is the worst. It technically, for health reasons, the other one is better. That's what they would say. Right.
the problem is that they both use the exact same arguments. They use the same arguments of like health reasons. They use the same arguments of consistency, of accidents or whatever, and like, like an uptick in like terms of like accidents and crime or whatever. Like they use the exact same arguments on both sides. So it's really interesting to watch like those debates,
Well,
because
you know
like it's
what is
really just
interesting too?
opinion essentially.
Japan was considering, they wanted to put a daylight savings in Japan during the Olympics because the sun was going to be up so early, right? And so they're like, oh, it's like not good for the athletes and stuff. Like their events would be super early, like if it needed to be at sunrise or something like that, right?
Right.
But the argument for Japan not to have it, this is my favorite, is they're like, it's too hard. That's it. That's the whole argument. They're like, it's too hard with the train system, like with the national train system and with everything. Like it's too hard to change the clocks twice a year. We can't do
And
it. It's impossible.
it's almost arbitrarily decided here in the States too about who observes it and who doesn't. Like in general, like you have these lines that kind of go across the states that like decide like like whether like you go forward 2 hours or 3 hour, or like you go forward an hour or you don't, right? But
Right.
like
I think Arizona is the only state that doesn't do it at all. Arizona is the same time all the time.
but there's also some counties in various states that don't
Oh my
observe
god,
it.
that's so stupid. That's
Yeah.
so dumb.
And then like I mean like time zones in general are kind of like almost sort of arbitrary too, just because the
Right.
United States is so big and everything that like it spans like multiple like latitude latitudes, I think. No, longitudes. So like the way that like what always weirded me out was like part of Florida is in central time, right? But it
Right.
makes sense on
Right.
a globe when you look at it, I guess, kind of. It just doesn't make sense when you're thinking about it.
I mean,
Because it's
all of the
like,
time
well,
zones,
it's
once
on
they got
the
standardized, got pretty weird. But also,
yeah.
D, on the Japan side, the other funny thing is there are 0 trains that run 24 hours a day. That like the last train is always like around midnight, and then the first train is at 4 in the morning. So they totally could change the time by an hour in the middle of the night, and it would not affect anything. Like that's the part that's even funnier to me. Is it's not even like there's like a 24-hour thing going on that's going to be weird. They totally could do it. They just don't want to. And to be honest, I think y'all should stop doing it. I think y'all should just pick a time
Yep.
and just stick with it.
100%. Yep.
You know?
Like the consistency would solve a lot of problems, regardless of which one we went to. And guess what? On at this point, I don't care. I don't care whether it's light out at 4 a.m. or like 8 a.m. At this point, like it's fine either way. Like,
Okay, what about this? Because have you? So one of the arguments for daylight savings is it is more natural, right? Because it's more natural for humans to get up with the sun. So, like in the summer in Japan, a lot of people aren't getting up at 4:30, right? They're still getting up at 6, so it's already you've lost an hour and a half of daylight, right? And it would be more natural, like if you get up, if the sun comes up at 5, you only lost 30 minutes, right? How would you feel if there was no daylight savings, but if everything shifted an hour? Stores started opening at 5 instead of 6. Kind of a deal. How would you feel
it
about
would
that?
I mean, because like likely it would go the opposite way too, where like stores would close an hour earlier or whatever. So I
Right.
mean, like it wouldn't matter. That's the thing that kills me is like all of this like just is really really frustrating because like we would adapt to it. That's what we do as
Right.
humans.
100%.
Like yeah,
100%.
it's just none of it really 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 is worth like this amount of like discourse. It really isn't. Like, let's just get it done one way or the other. And like, I'm okay with like me personally, I'm pro like it always being DST, right?
Mhm.
But I also, if the majority of people don't want that, I'm good with that. You know what? That's fine. Okay, like just stop making it change twice a year, please, because that's what throws me. That's
Right.
what gets
Right.
frustrating.
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
And then
for
also
me,
like in terms of like how we interact with the rest of the world, which there are like Japan, like other countries that don't observe it at all. Like I mean like it would
right.
just provide a more consistency. Yeah. I
Right.
mean
Which
uh,
matters more nowadays than it did before. Right.
yes,
With
yeah.
like how
w-
interconnected everything is, that consistency does
Yes.
help a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
The thing for me that I think a lot of people would benefit looking into is it was actually quite surprising to me the amount of things that I grew up doing or things that were just normal in the United States that I thought, oh, this is just the way it's always been. Really, we just started doing post World War II. Like, oh, like we
Sure.
just kind of
Yeah.
arbitrarily started doing this stuff post World War II. And now for some reason we think, and this is like forever, and this is the thing. And it's just pretty wild. And sometimes, not to be totally anti-tradition, because we shouldn't just stop things just because, right? But the I would bring up that maybe there are some things that we do them, and like we said, it's arbitrary, right? It
Right.
doesn't matter
Yeah.
quite so much as people think it does. All right,
I
I'm
just
actually looking up the history of daylight savings. Apparently the Romans kept what? Oh my gosh. This is like way too I just want to see, when did the US really start? Ooh, the first daylight savings was implemented in the US in 1918 as a wartime measure during World War One, in the interest of adding more daylight hours to conserve energy resources. Boom.
Yeah.
Year-round daylight savings, or wartime, was implemented again during World War II. They changed it permanently during World War II.
Well,
That's
they
crazy.
did. They did, but people hated it. People absolutely really, really did not like that for whatever reason. And like that frustrates me because it's like, well, like they just
Right.
granted, I get like maybe like when you're living a more individualistic life or whatever, like and you're not as connected to the rest of society as a whole, it probably doesn't necessarily matter as much,
Did you know that
but
Nixon, I did not know this, signed into law that daylight savings time was permanent, but there was so much pushback about kids going to school in the dark and people
yep.
starting their workday in the dark that literally the same year they repealed it. It was signed into law in
Well,
January, and by
and
October they repealed it.
honestly, that's like the biggest problem is that like if we shifted one way or the other, all of society would have to adjust to that. And that like
Right.
the reason why we don't, I think, is because like that would mean like potentially either you just suck it up and deal with it, right? Like it's okay. Like like we adapt to the fact of like kids going to school in the dark or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um which I get is, a point of contention, sure. But like either you do
Is
that
it
or you
is
have
it
different
is it a point of
times throughout
contention in the United States when there are definitely much scarier things going on at schools? I'm not going to, you know what? We don't want to get too political on the podcast, I suppose, but I will say this: a school, um, if there is a mass shooting in America, there is a place it's very likely it's going to happen,
unfortunately,
right?
yeah.
Are we really worried about kids walking in the dark? Come on, come on. The
Well, and especially when we've done that like for like years and years and years before, right? And like it's never really been like
you
something
know,
that we haven't
you
been
know
able to
what
deal
this
with.
issue is
But
exactly like.
how
You know,
about
I'm
it?
gonna draw a line here. This issue of daylight savings and like not being able to decide if we want it or we don't want it. This is just like the Xbox One with like always online, right? And what was it? Like being the all-in-one box kind of a deal. All of this super forward thinking, but then they didn't commit to it, right? They
Yeah.
throttled it back because there was
Yep.
pushback.
Yep.
And it's honestly, I don't want to say that like I miss a lot of those features. And it's funny because at the time, then, which this is like 10 years ago, I did not use those features very much. Some, right? Like I use snapping and stuff like that. But a lot of those all in one features I did not use. And it's funny because now with my Xbox Series X, I actually miss some of those features. I actually wish that some of those features were still there, which is super
Imagine
annoying.
like yeah, like I mean, I don't know. Like I still have multiple devices plugged into my TV and I was told that that would go away with smart TVs, but it hasn't. And part of that is having
Mm-hmm.
multiple consoles and stuff. But like if they had committed to an HDMI in going forward through the Xbox Series, like that would be a 4K in at this point, you know? Like I mean like that would be 4K faster. Like there's absolutely like no reason not to do that other than like the thought that people wouldn't like use it. But I guarantee that like Xboxers would. Like I
I mean,
think
it may be a
I
design issue that they didn't want to accommodate the space for it, you know?
well
Which
yeah, but
doesn't make
like
any
you
sense
just
because it's a huge
yeah.
console, but it's a
Well,
possibility.
what you do is you like decide what features you want and then you design around them, right? The fact is that they
Right.
probably didn't even like have that as a feature that they like the later Xbox Ones didn't even have that feature, you know? Like
Mm,
so or yeah, I think the like last version of the Xbox One I don't think had pass through.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But you know what did just happen? So this happened actually, this is not topical because it was like a month ago at this point. But it's topical for us because we haven't talked about it on this podcast. Halo campaign evolved.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Yes, yeah. It has been a
Halo
while.
Campaign Evolved. They've shown video of it. It's coming on PlayStation. Is it just PlayStation? Is it coming to Switch too? That would be hilarious if it's coming to Switch too.
I don't think it's been announced for Switch 2, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wait, actually, I'm not sure.
It's definitely Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. I definitely know that.
Yeah.
It has couch co-op online up to 4 players. They even added a back seat onto the, or like the Spartan sits on like the bumper. So like all 4. Okay, let's talk about that. Well, oh, we can't have 4 players because there's only 3 seats on the Warthog. This wasn't a problem in Halo 3, right? They just gave you a ghost. Also, you would not catch me riding on a Warthog with 3 other people, like as the 4th. I would never. I would never. That's the fastest squad wipe I've ever heard. Right?
Sure, but
Like
like I don't mind it. Like for those who want to actually all be in a vehicle or whatever, like I mean, I'm good with it. It's fine.
I'm
I think it's
I'm
actually
not.
like I think it could be really cool to have like that Warhog, and this is, I guess, the downside of the Halo remake is that it won't have multiplayer. But like in some of those bigger like multiplayer maps, I could see like this new evolution of the Warhog being useful, and like uh any kind of like big team battle or whatever.
It's interesting you say that because I would say, does it need online multiplayer like PvP? Does it need that? Because don't we already have that?
I
Right?
mean,
That's
we
what
do
Infinite is
through
supposed to be. And it's
we
free to
we
play.
yeah, but Infinite also just announced their last content update, which saddened me because like I told you uh like back when they announced the campaign evolve thing, like that it would be really cool to see Infinite come to PlayStation right now, or well after this Halo remake, because like I think that would give it new life, and like honestly it's a good game. It is. Like I mean, it's got a ton of content now. There's no reason to like sunset it. But I kind of feel like they're starting to sunset it, which is disappointing.
Well, they're starting to probably because they want to focus on other things, right? Like,
Right.
so first off, I'm super pumped for Halo Campaign Evolved. Personally, are you?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
For people who are like another Halo remaster, one, the game is just a good game. Just flat out. It's a good game and it's not really a remaster, it's a remake.
Yep.
And they're introducing new levels and new weapons, right? Like prequel levels and some new weapons and some new enemies, I think. I'm not totally sure about that. To be honest, I haven't looked all that much into it because I just know I'm going to get it. I know I'm going to play it, right? But introducing it on, well, one, having it be on Unreal is cool, but introducing it on PlayStation and getting to bring in the PlayStation fans, I'm pretty pumped for it. And personally, I think that what games are missing nowadays is the campaign co-op experience. There's a lot of shooters out there. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
I would
Like,
agree. Yeah.
and to play a story together versus just to play matches together, I think
With
especially with like the original Halo games,
with
like
four
that
player
could
co-op
be,
too. Not
yeah.
just two, like the original. So I mean like that's really exciting.
But like I told my wife, I was showing her this thing. I was like, for people who didn't play video games in like the early 2000s and like the 20 teens, like playing Halo 1, Halo 2, Gears, going through co-op on these with your friends, it's a real experience. And David and I have talked about our religious background, but like I talk more with guys I played Halo 3 campaign with than people I grew up in church with. And the people I grew up in church with, for reference, we worship the same God, right? Like you would think this would be a big connection, but like I am more in contact with guys that I played Halo 3 with and just still want to just talk and talk like, people, oh man, did you see this? Did you see this? It was a real bonding experience. And I, for one, am super excited for like kids like my son and such to get to play it and get to experience it, especially cross platform. Like it's going to be great. I'm super pumped.
I think it's
Oh,
really,
and they're
really
adding
cool.
sprint. They're adding
And they're
sprint.
adding sprint. Yes, I'm sure a lot of people are mad at that. But yeah, I think it's really cool that it exists. I think it's really cool that it's cross-platform. I kind of wish that they would add some kind of multiplayer to it, but honestly, I'm good with them not. Uh, I don't know if it's priced 70, is it worth it? You know, like
Oh,
because that's a
totally
high
not. It's got to
price
be
to.
40, right? It's got to be 40.
Ah,
They got to
you would
pull like a
hope,
Helldivers 2.
but yeah,
We'll see. But it's also got to be a test, right? Like
right.
they're clearly
Yes.
like it's a test for all 3 of the Halo games, like
Yep.
the
And
original
a
Halo
test
trilogy.
for like this is actually a really great test to use for networking because you have like the 4-player connection or whatever. Uh and then you also have like the whole testing for like using Unity, right? Which they just
Right.
switched to from their subspace engine. Like
You
this
mean
is the
Unreal? Unreal.
best or yeah, I'm sorry, Unreal. Yeah, Unreal 5.
Yeah.
Uh but like to have a blueprint of what to make and not have to create that blueprint means that they could have gotten like to work right away in terms of crafting what they wanted to craft and not have to worry about like the creation of something new necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right.
and be able to follow that blueprint and uh use that to kind of like familiarize themselves with the tool set of using a brand new engine that they haven't
Mm-hmm.
really used in Halo games before. I'm still like I get that Slipspace was hard to work with, but I still am like a huge fan of proprietary engines when they work well.
Right.
The problem is that when a studio does make one that works well, they want to use it for everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
Dice with like their Dice engine that they use, the
Mm-hmm.
Frostbite engine, that's used for like everything, including Jedi Survivor, which Jedi Survivor does not run the best on it. You know, I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
like it's like things like that. Like, I don't know. There's pros and cons, I guess. Like, but I dislike everyone using the same engine because like at some point it becomes easy to like kind of just like make everything look the same, you know? Like
Mm-hmm.
you could get lazy essentially with like everyone using the same engine and there existing so many like pre-existing assets for it and everything. And I worry about that a lot. And then also like the asset the the engine owner obviously can like then try to, you know, make their bag by potentially
Right. Of course.
exploiting a bit or whatever, you know, or like because then they hold a lot of power in terms of like bargaining and all that. So I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of torn. I kind of wish that Halo hadn't switched to it, but like, it looks really good. I will say, like, this remake is the best that Halo has ever looked. I think. Uh,
It looks really good. And to be honest, like it's like that video I sent you on Instagram. It's been almost 5, it'll be 5 years since we've seen Master Chief.
right?
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's too long, and as on one hand I agree with you. I like having their own engine, but if it means they can consolidate their teams and actually release, cuz we're getting into this weird time, right? Like I want more story content.
Right.
That's it. What happened? I want to know what happened. Like either end the story or keep it going, right? But
Right.
let's not like
Yeah.
hang it here where we don't like, right? Like either do a Mass Effect 3 and we got a hard out, it's over, or actually continue it. Can you believe that it's been 5 years and we still don't know what's happened after the end of Infinite, which was barely even an ending? Like it was so clear that it's like, oh, so they're probably planning on doing some story-based DLC or something, you know?
Right. Yeah. Like that's well, and the same for Gears too. And I kind of hate like that Microsoft is like kind of like developing this like I don't know this pattern of not being able to like finish stories because they want to
Right.
continue to make it a franchise. Like that's kind of a little bit not good from a story perspective.
Right.
And
Exactly.
yeah, so I mean, like, and I don't want them to stretch out things if they can't like actually like continue to deliver on them, because that's what Destiny tried to do, right? And
Well,
like
what
it hurt Destiny a lot.
let's
It
look at the
just
let's look at the two Halo trilogies. So you've got Halo 1, 2, and 3, and then you have Halo 4, Halo 5, and Infinite, right?
yeah,
What even is the story of 4, 5, and Infinite? You know what I mean? What even is that?
right. Well,
Like,
that almost feels like that feels disjointed, but that feels disjointed for a number of like changes that they did too,
right.
like studio wise, because
There
yeah,
were visual changes, right? Like Master Chief in Halo 4 looks very different than he does in Infinite or in Halo 5 is a little more like it. It's kind of in a weird in between, but there's those changes, right? But even story-wise, what happened?
I mean, Chief became a bad guy, but not really, but kind of, I mean, like, I don't know.
Cortana
Like,
died and then she came
yeah,
back and then she died
yeah,
and then she came back again.
yeah.
Like,
Um, well, like, I think if Five had like finished what it was trying to do, I think it would have been on all fine. But the fact that like Five was essentially kind of like a Last Jedi kind of thing, where
mhm.
it tried to like spin things off into a different direction, but then didn't commit hard enough, you know, like because like again with
Infinite
like
was great. I loved
yeah,
Infinite. I liked the
yeah,
storytelling of Infinite, of like the Halo ODST picking up the pieces. Kind of, I liked it.
yes, yeah. Well, and I feel like Infinite is a great like, hey, let's fast forward a little bit, get a little bit of room so that we can kind of pick up this story and not have to deal with like the mess that like Infinite what that Five was, that Guardians
Yeah,
was. Like I think that was a smart call. Uh and I again like as Infinite exists, I think that it's a good story with no ending, you know? Like I
right.
mean
No,
like
exactly.
yeah, like and like that's the frustrating part of it, because it's like okay, like you can't set something up and then just not deliver for like a decade. But that seems to be what they're doing. It's like
Yeah.
oof. Like that's like what's the point even of trying to deliver then, Like I don't know.
Well,
It's
and
just
the
yeah.
issue is it doesn't bring in new fans, right? You're just keeping the same fans who loved Halo and like, but anyone who played Infinite first, if they even played campaign, I mean, but look at how many of our own friends are like, I haven't even finished the Halo Infinite campaign, which is crazy to me.
That's
Like, how could you
wild to
not
me.
play
Yeah.
the
Well,
Halo
especially
campaign?
since it's fun. Like that's the thing that kills. Well, I kind of get it because Halo Infinite Campaign wasn't co-op at launch. It should have been, but it wasn't, because
Yeah.
they wanted to get it out the door. And like when they did add co-op, it was lazy. It was
Yeah.
everyone's Master Chief, which doesn't make sense. And there was like the rubber banding thing, you were tethered. And
Yep.
that also hurts, Like the tether wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't like Arca
Early,
survival at
early
the
arc.
where you can't go like 5 feet or but
Yeah.
like but the tether does exist, and you do notice it sometimes when you have this huge island to explore, and like people start going off in different directions quickly because they can with the
Yeah.
grapple and everything and with vehicles, and then like oh, they hit a wall and it's like okay, well, I guess I can't go any further unless whoever's the host comes out here, like
Well,
yeah.
that, and I actually liked where they were going with it. But going back to it being on PlayStation, the idea of like a Halo revival to draw in a bunch of more fans who have never played it, and are excited to try it and can possibly get into it. The idea, Halo 1 and Halo 2 remakes, I feel kind of whatever about, but the idea that we could finally get a Halo 3 remake as well, pretty exciting, in my opinion. And
If they
even if
do,
they're all just campaign,
yeah,
I would love to have a good campaign again, you know? Like, as much
I
as
would
I love
too.
Helldivers 2, there's no campaign to it.
Yeah, that's true. Like all the story is kind of like And I think it does multiplayer story in an interesting way, but it's like
It
very
does it in a
much
great
like,
way, but it's
yeah,
not it's not like a campaign, right?
right, yeah,
And I see Halo, well maybe not Halo, but like I feel like Microsoft is trying to take a page out of Nintendo's book on like just remaking beloved games, you know? Like, oh hey, like why should we make Halo, you know, what, 7 when we can just remake Halo 1, 2 and 3 and we know for sure we're probably going to make bank on them, right? Like why do that? You know, take one from Pokemon games. That being said, I feel like Nintendo does a good job of having an enclosed experience in a game,
yes, I would
right?
agree.
So
Yeah,
the Zelda franchise isn't like you're not wondering what happened to Link. And actually at the end of each game there is a very good closure moment that it feels done. And I know I'm kind of talking about what sounds like a single player experience, but it kind of is, right? It's just a co-op experience. But it's that way with Gears too. Whatever happened? You know, we played Gears 5. What happened? Is there even another? I don't even know. Was there another Gears game after that? What happened in the story? Unclear to me.
well, and again, like, I think it's okay to leave a story relatively open ended if you're going to follow up on it quickly. But the fact is that they aren't. Like, I mean, like, they only just announced like the Halo remake, which is coming out next year. Uh, I don't know if they have another Halo game next year. I would be kind of surprised. I would be actually very surprised. I know they're working on other Halo stuff, but like generally they like to give it like more than a year of marketing. So I mean, like, I don't know. It's
And
just like, and my problem is too, like, this is like a theme. This is a pattern now, and there's been multiple data points for it too. Like with
right.
Gears 5 as well, right? Like Gears 5, who knows when we're getting Gears 6? But that story left off at a really interesting place where I really want to know what happened next. And like,
Same.
how long will I have to wait, you know? Like,
And how
and
long has it already been?
right, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, like, it's been 5 years, like you said. Like, that's like, what? Am I going to have to, like, actually will I find out at the end of my 50-year mortgage what happened next in the Halo story? Like
If you had to guess how long it's been since Gears 5 came out, without looking, if you don't know off the top of your head, how when do you think Gears 5 came out?
was it 2017?
Ooh, that's very close. 2019. D, that's 6
Oh,
years
okay.
ago.
Yeah.
That's
That's wild.
6 years ago it
I
came
don't know
out.
what upsets me more, that it came out 6 years ago and we still have no idea, like, Gear 6 technically hasn't even been announced yet, or that 2019 was 6 years ago. I don't know which is more
Right.
upsetting to
Well,
me.
and the thing with that, you know, this I can kind of tie it around to TV shows as well. Like let's talk about the Fallout show, right? I'm super excited. I think there's a new season next year, 2026, right?
Yeah.
To only do an 8 episode season and then a 2-year gap, maybe 3-year gap sometimes, that's too long to
Yeah.
expect your fans to feel like emotionally invested and into it, you know? That's a long time to wait.
I mean, like,
And
yeah.
especially on something that is like very story driven and like especially if you leave it unclear, right? It would be one thing to have like a closed story and then it's like a sequel, right? It's one thing to have like a Star Wars episode 4, A New Hope, and then boom, like now we're in Empire Strikes Back. Or even the ending of Empire Strikes Back, which kind of ends on this uncertain hard thing, but there's still closure there
There's still at least
to a
some
degree,
closure there. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Versus, you know, it's a totally different thing to end it on like a Hobbit 2 where like Smaug is flying to Lake Town to burn it up and it like ends as he's like I'm death, right?
Okay,
Like
that was egregious though. That was insane. That
yeah,
was
but
wild.
but it's different. That's a different. And
Yeah.
then they're like, yep. And
Yeah.
then to be like, guess what, guys? We're gonna wait 6 years before the next movie. Like that's crazy. It's crazy. And so Master Chief coming back, I'm excited. I mean, I think that of course it's the same. I mean, I don't know though. There's new levels. That's kind of cool, you
Yeah.
know. it's not exactly the same experience. And so that is exciting. I think it's only good. I think any Halo fans who are actually complaining, this is my message to Halo fans who are complaining about it either going to PlayStation, about it not being Halo 3, about Sprint. Like, just how does it feel to just be wrong? You know?
Well, and this also continues a trend, a good trend, of the fact that like when Xbox games go to PlayStation, they sell well and people really, really enjoy them. And that's because these are good games. Like just because the majority of people don't get the opportunity to play them on Xbox, like doesn't make them bad games. And so like to see them like actually like get exposed to a large audience, I think is really good for both like the developers because like it's more incentive to like make more of them, right? And for
Mm,
other players who are already playing them, right? Because it gives them like more people to talk about them with and everything, like more inclusion in terms of like gaming
right.
spaces, like and yeah, I think it's really cool all around to like have like Halo coming to PlayStation. Like a lot of people are like, this is the death knell of Xbox or whatever. And I get that. Like this is one of your core franchises or whatever. Why buy an Xbox at this point? But I mean, like also, like it seems like Xbox doesn't necessarily want you to buy an Xbox at this point,
Right.
which
This,
kind of sucks. But as long as they're still okay, like swallowing the cost on making hardware, I'm good with that. Like as long as they still make hardware out there to compete and like continue to like actually like provide competition in that marketplace, I'm okay with that. It's when like they have no incentive to do so and they refuse to do so. Like that's when I start getting upset.
which
I mean,
maybe
like,
they
and
will.
which
Maybe they'll be
that might
Sega.
happen.
Maybe
That
they'll
might
become a
happen.
Sega and they'll pull out of the hardware game and just release games.
But also,
But
their games are good. Like, so I mean, like, I
yeah,
can't really even complain that much. Like,
but I'll use a little bit of a different example here. So I've talked quite a bit about on this podcast. I'm a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Right, got an Avatar tattoo, all this stuff, and I was a fan of it from when it was on TV. Right, 2020 hit, Avatar hit Netflix, all the perfect storm for the Avatar Renaissance. And it was interesting to see some Avatar fans kind of have a bit of a pushback against it becoming mainstream. You know what? There is not a person now that you can talk to who doesn't love that show, right? People name drop the show all the time. People have all these theories, all that stuff. And it's interesting to see how some people don't love that, right? They're like, oh, like I liked the show before it was cool. Or like, oh, now everybody thinks this, but like, oh, but I've been watching the show longer and da da da. But like for me, I totally understand that feeling because also like it's like loving Star Wars, right? It's just
sure,
mainstream.
yeah,
Or
absolutely,
it's
yeah.
like Spider-Man being your favorite Marvel hero. Like it's just
Well,
mainstream, right?
and
Like
the fact
everybody
is
loves
that
it.
when something is mainstream, it does change because there's a wider anyway diversity of audiences like taking it in, and you want to keep
Right.
those audiences, right? And so like you tend to kind of like change or like add more content or whatever. But that
Well, that's what
ultimately
I was
isn't
going to
a
bring up.
bad thing. Like, yeah.
That's what I was going to bring up. You know what? In 2019, my favorite world was dead. There was 3 seasons of a show. There was a spin-off show that didn't do as well. There was 4 seasons of that. There were a few books and a few graphic novels and a couple of crappy games and that was it. There's no future. I love it. There's no future for it. Right? There is a new Avatar after Avatar Korra in development. There are feature length movies following Avatar Aang and like the gang as adults coming out like in the next couple years. There have been more books written. Like it's an awesome time to be an Avatar fan. I would love to see Halo get the same treatment, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Halo's been dead for 5 years. Like as hard sounding as that is, what's been going on in Halo, right? This is the biggest break for Master Chief since he was a Fortnite skin, D.
Well, and it's such a difficult market to exist in now too. Like I get that Infinite had a bad first impression, especially with like the year and a half of no new content. Like that was insane. But like uh I get that people didn't necessarily feel like obligated to come back to it or like, that other games caught their attention and everything and they had to keep up with. Like I can't even keep up with. the games that are coming out on a daily or monthly or weekly basis or whatever. You know, like Arc Raiders came out, and I've been playing that, but I haven't touched Battlefield 6 yet. I don't know when I'll get to Black Ops 7. Like, yeah, it's a wild time to be a gamer and trying to keep up. And like, it's really
I only
difficult
play
to go
Helldivers
back
too.
to a game that came out like a year and a half ago or whatever. Like, or, you know, it's good now. It's just not a strong enough like pull, you
Right.
know? It just
Right.
isn't.
You have to want it. You have to want to go back to it
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's me. You know what? That's me in Cyberpunk.
Sure. Yeah.
I
No,
have
same
heard
actually.
it's
Yes.
good. I put a lot of time into it, and people
Yeah.
being like, "Oh, it's good now," and these new DLCs and this. Man, it's a great game. I have no desire to play that game. There's so many other games coming out, and so many other single player games I need to get to that like it's just been on the back burner. You know?
I really want to get back to Cyberpunk, but yeah, it's just difficult. Like there's just so much
Do you
noise, and
think?
a lot of it is good noise. That's the problem too. Like, I mean, yeah.
Do you think that Halo Campaign Evolved is going to come to Game Pass Core, or is that only? I actually haven't looked into it. Do all of the first party titles come to Game Pass Core, or is that just Ultimate or Essential?
That's a great question. Actually, I don't know. I would like for it to come to core because that's just such a foundational part of like Xbox in
Xbox.
general.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I feel like it should. But like with the whole new uh the new structuring of Game Pass, I just don't know. At the very least, I feel like they should put it on premium, but again, I don't know. I don't know if they will.
Well, that and then if it comes, will it not come day one? Right, because that's
Well,
like an
that's what I mean.
Ultimate
Like,
thing.
it will definitely come to premium within a year of release. Like, that's their commitment. But I mean, like, whether it comes day one is a great question,
Okay,
and
as of
whether it
6
comes
months
to
ago,
core on day
Core
one
does
is
not
a
have
question.
them. They're day one on Ultimate, and a standard, I guess, premium now comes whenever it comes.
Right.
Man, that's
But
wild.
that was, yeah.
I'm gonna have to buy that game. Crazy.
But again, like, hopefully they decide not to charge 70 bucks. Like, I mean, I've got Ultimate. I don't need to really worry. But I think that it would just be such a mistake to only have the campaign despite the
Mm.
like 3 new levels. I don't think that's enough content to like justify a $70 game when there's other $70 games out there to compare it to. And I don't think it's fair necessarily to compare everything, but I think that that would hurt it. And
But
don't,
I also
yeah.
feel like the games that have come out that have been under that $70 have been very well received.
Yes, I would agree. Especially right now. Like, shoot, like I said, I'm playing Arc Raiders, $40 game or whatever. Like, this game is like outdoing like Helldivers, which was also a $40 or $50 game or whatever.
Right?
Like, I
$40
mean,
game.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Like, it's crazy. Like, and Expedition 33, also a like $50 game, I think.
Yep.
Like, just like it's wild to see like these what would ordinarily be like double A, I guess, kind of experiences or whatever, but actually they're triple A in quality. They're just double A in kind of like price, I guess. Like, that's really interesting to see.
But it's also super smart. It's a
Yep.
super smart way to get people in, like yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I have to run. I have a pet bird, actually Chiho's pet, Ramune, and I need to take him to the vet. Just for a normal checkup, not because he's sick or
Oh,
anything
okay.
like that.
All right.
And Ramine's been in a good mood, and for any pet owners out there, he's been in a good mood today, and I've been laughing because I'm like, bro, you're gonna get wrecked today. You are gonna be so mad later. Because pets don't like that. Anyway, you have
True.
any closing comments, D?
So one cool little thing that PlayStation might be doing, there's been screenshots or whatever and rumors,
Going out of
is that
business?
they might be adding cross buy so that if you buy it on PlayStation, you will also get it on PC or vice versa. I think that's really cool. I think that's
Just
forward
PC?
thinking. Just PC,
On
yeah.
what? On what? On Steam?
That's a great question. It's unclear
Or
right
are they
now
going to open
because,
their own PC store in which
well,
then you get it?
that's the weird thing is that they don't have their own PC store, so that's kind of weird. But like, I think cross buy at all, period, is a great thing. So it'd be cool if they
Yeah,
committed
well,
to that.
that's another nail in the coffin for Xbox if that's the case. Because, okay, well, if you buy it on Xbox, you can also play it on PC, sure. But if you buy it on PlayStation, you can play it on PC. I don't know. I don't know,
I mean,
D.
I think that would kind of balance the scales a little bit, and I
Could
think it'd be
you,
better
in
for
theory,
consumers.
do game streaming from a PlayStation, like through their internet browser? Could you play an Xbox game from streaming? Is this possible?
I think some people have tried that. I don't know how successful they've been.
You
Like,
should
I think
please
you
try
have
it. Please
to.
try it
Oh gosh,
for next week.
well, I don't think the PS5 actually has like an easy to get to browser. Like, it's
That's
kind of
wild.
complicated to activate their browser. Like, you have to go through the help menus or whatever.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well, on that note, make sure to like and subscribe and do all the things. Right, everybody? Helps
Yeah.
out. Bye. Get out of here, Craig.